My dear friends, within every one of us lies a silent power, a divine whisper that can transform our entire being in the twinkling of an eye. The subconscious mind, that sacred workshop of creation, listens not to the noise of the world, but to the quiet instructions of our inner voice. There is a moment, just 3 seconds, when a thought becomes belief, and belief becomes reality. In that sacred instant, your words impress the subconscious mind, reprogramming your body, your emotions, and even your circumstances. You do not need long hours of struggle or endless affirmations. You need only the calm whisper of faith, a statement of truth, spoken with conviction to awaken the infinite intelligence within you. As you listen to this message, I invite you to still your mind, open your heart, and allow the whisper of divine power to move through you. For in 3 seconds of pure belief, your entire world can change. The subconscious responds instantly to belief. This is one of the greatest truths ever discovered by the human mind, yet so few truly understand its power. Your subconscious does not analyze, reason, or debate with you. It does not question your worthiness or wait for proof. It simply accepts whatever you believe as true and begins to act upon it immediately. It is the silent builder behind every cell, every heartbeat, every success, and every failure in your life. It takes your thoughts and emotions as instructions, translating them into the language of reality. The moment a belief is impressed upon it, the subconscious begins to rearrange conditions, attract people, and create circumstances to make that belief visible. Many imagine that change takes time, that the mind must be trained for years before results appear. But the subconscious does not move through time. It responds in the eternal now. The instant you believe something with feeling, the creative power within you begins to operate on that frequency. Whether you are conscious of it or not, belief is the signal you send to the infinite mind, and that signal is answered without delay. This is why a sudden realization, a single moment of absolute conviction, can transform an entire life. Consider the countless stories of people who, after years of struggle, suddenly changed when they knew times within themselves that healing or success was already theirs. In that instant of deep belief, their subconscious responded. The body began to heal, the right opportunities appeared, the impossible became possible. It wasn't the number of times they repeated an affirmation. It was the moment the belief became real to them. That is when the subconscious accepted the new idea as truth and started to express it through every area of their being. You must understand that the subconscious is not limited by logic, time, or physical law. It is connected to the universal intelligence that governs all things. When belief enters the subconscious, it communicates directly with this universal power. That is why belief can create miracles. To the rational mind, it may seem mysterious or even impossible, but to the subconscious, it is natural law. Just as gravity never fails, the law of belief never fails. Whatever you deeply believe, whether good or bad, the subconscious expresses with absolute fidelity. This truth demands that you guard your thoughts carefully. You cannot entertain ideas of limitation, fear, or sickness without planting them into the fertile soil of your subconscious. It doesn't discriminate between good or evil, hope or despair. It only responds to the emotional intensity of your belief. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "I never will," you're impressing the subconscious with commands it must obey, and it obeys instantly. The results may unfold gradually, but the response begins the very moment belief is felt. To change your life, you must change your belief. And belief is not a forced effort. It is a state of knowing. It comes when the conscious mind and the heart are aligned in agreement. When you feel the truth of your new idea so deeply that doubt disappears, that is the moment the subconscious accepts it. You may not see the result immediately, but the process has already begun. Like a seed planted in rich soil, your belief begins to grow beneath the surface. It organizes events, draws resources, and aligns circumstances to bring your vision into form. This is why Joseph Murphy said that your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It works tirelessly day and night, following the pattern you give it. If your pattern is one of fear, it creates confusion and limitation. If your pattern is one of faith and abundance, it manifests harmony and success. The choice is always yours, because belief is a choice. You can choose to believe in the power of the infinite within you, or you can choose to believe in the illusions of lack and failure. Whatever you choose, your subconscious responds instantly and completely. When you realize this, you begin to understand that you are never a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of it. Every belief you hold is a blueprint the subconscious uses to build your experience. The moment you change that blueprint, your life must change accordingly. The speed at which the outer world shifts depends on the strength of your belief, not on time or effort. One clear, unwavering conviction can undo years of limitation. The subconscious responds instantly to belief because belief is the language of creation. It is the vibration that tells the universe what to become. Every thought clothed in feeling becomes a decree, and the infinite mind fulfills it without delay. So when you speak words of faith, health, love, and success and feel them as true, your subconscious begins at once to move everything toward their realization. Understand this. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is knowing that what you desire already exists in the unseen. When you live from that knowing, your subconscious acts immediately to bridge the gap between the invisible and the visible. There is no waiting, no hesitation, no resistance, only instant obedience to the command of belief. That is the eternal secret. The subconscious responds not to time, not to effort, but to belief. Believe now, with feeling, and your world will begin to transform now, instantly, silently, and unfailingly. 3 seconds of focused faith can rewire your realities. In those few seconds, when your mind is clear and your heart is aligned, a single, concentrated belief can set into motion forces that reshape your world. The universe does not require time, it requires conviction. When your faith burns so brightly that doubt disappears, the power within you awakens. Those 3 seconds of focused faith act like lightning. They strike deep into the subconscious mind, leaving an impression that transforms everything it touches. The human mind is a magnificent transmitter of energy. Every thought, when charged with emotion, sends a frequency into the creative field of the universe. But most people scatter their mental energy thinking one thing, feeling another, and believing something entirely different. Their thoughts are weak because they are divided. Focused faith, however, gathers all your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy into a single point of creation. In that sacred alignment, your subconscious receives a clear and powerful instruction, and it responds instantly. When you hold a belief for even 3 seconds with total certainty, you impress that belief upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious, being creative and obedient, begins to reorganize your body, your emotions, and your outer circumstances to mirror that belief. It doesn't matter whether the belief is positive or negative, the response is automatic. That's why a single moment of fear can produce immediate tension in the body, and a single moment of faith can bring calm and healing. The subconscious reacts not to time, but to the time's intensity, times and times clarity, times of your belief. Imagine you stand before a locked door. For years, you've been pushing it, knocking on it, trying to open it with words, effort, and struggle. Then one day, in 3 seconds of pure faith, you realize the door was never locked. You push gently, and it opens. That realization is what faith does. It removes the illusion of impossibility. It connects you to the truth that all power, healing, and abundance already exist within you. Those 3 seconds of awakening can accomplish what years of effort could not. The reason faith works instantly is because it aligns you with the creative intelligence of the universe. The subconscious mind is the bridge between your conscious thought and that infinite power. When you hold an idea with unwavering certainty, your subconscious translates it into reality by directing energy, intuition, and opportunity toward its fulfillment. This is not a slow process. The moment the subconscious accepts your belief, it begins working on every level to make it true. It communicates with the universal field, and that field responds in kind, moving people, events, and circumstances in your favor. Many people think faith means repetition or constant affirmation, but true faith is not about words, it is about feeling. It's not how long you affirm, but how deeply you believe. When, for even a few seconds, you feel times the reality of your desire as already accomplished, that feeling impresses your subconscious more powerfully than hours of mechanical repetition. Those 3 seconds of focused faith carry more creative energy than 1,000 words of doubt. Your subconscious is like soft clay. Every intense emotion molds it instantly. If you impress it with fear, it shapes your experience into anxiety and limitation. But if you impress it with faith, it reshapes your world into peace and abundance. Every miracle recorded in history began with such moments, a person who dared to believe completely, even for a few seconds, that the impossible was possible. In those seconds, they reprogrammed their entire reality. Think of a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't need a long speech or complex process to grow. It needs only to be placed in fertile soil and given life. Faith is that seed, the subconscious is the soil, and the feeling of belief is the life that awakens it. When you believe, you plant your word in the creative power of the universe, and immediately, that power begins to bring it to life. It may take time to see the full manifestation, but the process begins at once the instant your belief is felt. You don't need to fight against fear or try to suppress negative thoughts. You only need to replace them with a moment of faith. 3 seconds of focused faith can dissolve hours of anxiety, because light always overcomes darkness. The subconscious cannot hold 2 opposing beliefs at once. The stronger one always prevails. And faith, when felt deeply, is always stronger than doubt. So take those 3 seconds, still your mind, breathe, feel the reality of what you desire as if it already exists. Let that feeling of gratitude and certainty fill you completely. In that instant, your subconscious receives the message. It begins reprogramming your body's chemistry, adjusting your energy, and guiding your thoughts and actions toward the fulfillment of that desire. You may not see the outer change immediately, but the inner transformation happens at once. Faith is the language of creation. It bypasses logic, transcends time, and communicates directly with the infinite. 3 seconds of focused faith can rewire your mind and body because they tune your entire being to the vibration of your desire. And when your vibration changes, reality must follow. The law is absolute, as within, so without. Therefore, do not underestimate the power of a single faith-filled moment. When your belief is pure, when your focus is unwavering, when your heart feels the truth of what you desire in that instant, everything begins to change. The subconscious responds, the universe aligns, and your reality starts to reshape itself around your new state of belief. 3 seconds of focused faith, that's all it takes to open the door to miracles. Whispered thoughts shape the body and the mind. Every word you speak silently to yourself, Every quiet sentence that passes through your inner world becomes a living command to the subconscious. You may not realize it, but you are whispering to your body and your mind all day long. These whispers are not random, they are creative forces, and they never stop working. Each thought is like a drop of dye that colors the waters of your consciousness, gradually tinting the way you feel, act, and live. What you whisper within determines the condition of your outer world, because the subconscious listens not to volume but to vibration. When you whisper words of harmony, love, and health, the body hears. The cells of your body respond to the energy behind your thoughts. Science calls it the mind-body connection, but Joseph Murphy called it the divine law of belief. Every cell is conscious in its own way and obedient to the mind that governs it. A thought of peace relaxes the heart, eases the muscles, and steadies the breath. A thought of fear tightens the chest, disturbs digestion, and clouds the brain. Whisper often enough that you are tired, sick, or unlucky, and your body will take that command seriously. Whisper often enough that you are strong, calm, and guided, and the body will begin to align with that truth. Your whispered thoughts are like invisible sculptors shaping the unseen clay of your subconscious. You may think that only spoken words carry power, but it is the inner dialogue, the quiet self-talk, that has the greatest impact. It is continuous and emotional, and emotion is the language of the subconscious. Every time you silently affirm something with feeling, your subconscious receives it as an instruction. If you whisper to yourself, "I always fail," or "I never heal," you are planting those words deep within the fertile soil of the mind, where they grow into experiences that prove them true. But this law also works for your good. When you begin to whisper to yourself words of power and faith, your inner reality starts to shift. You can feel it in your body first, a new energy, a calm strength, a sense of peace. That feeling is the signal that your subconscious has accepted a new idea. The more you nourish that whisper with belief, the more it becomes a living part of you. You begin to think differently, speak differently, act differently, and soon your outer world mirrors your new inner language. Whispered thoughts are subtle but mighty. They don't need to be loud to be effective, because the subconscious does not measure volume. It measures conviction. A whisper filled with certainty moves the universe more than a shout filled with doubt. When you quietly tell yourself, "I am whole," and you times feel times the truth of those words, your subconscious begins to reprogram your body toward wholeness. The cells receive the message. The body adjusts its rhythm to match the vibration of that belief. Healing begins not with medicine alone, but with the thoughts you whisper in the silence of your own mind. Most people are unaware of how often they whisper limitation to themselves. They rehearse worries, replay failures, and silently repeat fearful predictions about the future. These thoughts become patterns of energy that shape both body and destiny. If you constantly whisper, "I'm too old," "I'll never succeed," or "I'm not enough," the subconscious accepts these statements and shapes your life to reflect them. But when you reverse this pattern, when you begin whispering, "I am youthful in spirit, I am divinely guided, everything works in my favor," you plant new seeds in the garden of your subconscious, and they must eventually bear fruit. The transformation begins in quietness. You don't need to shout affirmations or force belief. The most powerful transformation happens in stillness, when the conscious mind is calm and the subconscious is receptive. Early in the morning, or just before sleep, whisper the thoughts you wish to become true. Feel them, believe them, and let them sink into the depths of your being. Your subconscious will hear, and your body will begin to obey. This is the secret of all great spiritual teachers and healers. They understood that words, especially those spoken inwardly, carry vibrational energy that molds reality. Every whisper of self-love, gratitude, or peace releases healing hormones, balances the nervous system, and restores harmony within the body. Every whisper of anger, shame, or fear does the opposite. The body becomes what the mind continually tells it to be. You are the thinker, the speaker, and the listener, all at once. You are the creator of the inner dialogue that shapes your destiny. When you become aware of what you whisper to yourself, you reclaim your creative power. You can choose words that heal rather than harm, words that build rather than break. Whisper strength instead of weakness, forgiveness instead of blame, and courage instead of fear. Over time, these whispers will transform not only your state of mind, but also the structure of your body and the quality of your life. Remember, the subconscious mind is always listening. It listens when you complain, and it listens when you bless. It listens when you despair, and it listens when you rejoice. So speak to it wisely. Whisper to it only what you wish to see expressed. Whisper health, and you will feel stronger. Whisper love, and your relationships will blossom. Whisper abundance, and opportunities will begin to appear. Your whispered thoughts shape your mind, your body, and your destiny. You hold immense creative power in the quiet of your own thoughts. Use it deliberately, lovingly, and faithfully, and watch your life transform from the inside out. The universe mirrors your dominant inner voice. Whatever you consistently hold within your beliefs, your emotions, your self-talk becomes the pattern that the outer world reflects back to you. Life does not happen to you by accident. It is responding to the tone and quality of your inner conversation. Your circumstances are echoes of your consciousness, mirrors showing you the thoughts you whisper most often. The universe is impartial and exact. It gives form to whatever vibration you maintain, whether of fear or faith, doubt or confidence, scarcity or abundance. This law operates silently but unfailingly. The outer world is not a separate realm. It is an extension of your inner state. When you change your inner dialogue, the reflection must change as well. People often try to fix their outer life while leaving the inner voice untouched. They struggle against circumstances, argue with others, and push for change, yet their inner world continues to repeat the same limiting stories. The universe listens only to the dominant vibration within you. It is not the fleeting thought that shapes your world, but the sustained mood, the habitual belief, the quiet conviction that you return to again and again. Imagine your inner voice as a transmitter and the universe as a receiver. Whatever frequency you broadcast is reflected back to you as experience. If your inner voice continually says, "I can't," "I'm unlucky," or "nothing ever works for me," that frequency attracts matching events that confirm those beliefs. The universe is not punishing you, it is simply showing you what you believe about yourself. The same law applies when your inner voice declares, "I am guided," "Everything works out for me," or "I live in divine abundance." Those statements, when felt with conviction, call forth circumstances that prove them true. The universe is a perfect mirror, and it never argues. It only reflects. Many people speak positively for a moment, but inwardly contradict themselves for hours. They may affirm prosperity, yet carry a background hum of worry and fear. They may say they believe in health, but whisper thoughts of sickness and weakness. The universe responds not to the surface words, but to the underlying emotional tone, that deep inner voice that vibrates beneath your conscious thoughts. Whatever you feel to be most true, the universe must reflect. That is why Joseph Murphy said, "As within, so without." Your outer life is the screen, your inner mind is the projector. When you realize this truth, you no longer fight against appearances. You understand that changing the reflection requires changing the source. If the mirror shows you a frown, you don't try to polish the glass, you change your expression. In the same way, when life reflects lack, failure, or frustration, you shift your inner voice toward gratitude, abundance, and confidence. Slowly but surely, the reflection changes. The law is certain, because the universe has no will apart from your belief. It is like an echo in a canyon. What you send out returns to you multiplied. The inner voice is not merely the words you speak silently, it is the feeling that accompanies them. If you say, "I am happy," but feel sadness, the feeling dominates. The universe mirrors vibration, not language. That is why emotion is the key. When your inner voice is filled with faith and joy, it emits a frequency that draws harmony, opportunity, and love. When your inner voice is heavy with resentment or self-pity, it calls forth people and situations that resonate with those emotions. The mirror cannot lie. It can only reveal. You can test this law easily. Spend a single day observing your inner voice. Notice how it reacts to challenges, delays, and interactions. Every complaint, every worry, every mental "I can't" is a command to the universe to continue the same pattern. But each time you shift that voice, each time you quietly affirm peace, trust, and strength, you begin to rewrite the script that life follows. The outer world starts to reorganize itself to match your new vibration. People respond differently, opportunities appear, and events unfold more smoothly. Nothing mystical is happening. You are simply experiencing the echo of your new consciousness. This is the secret behind all spiritual and psychological transformation. Change the inner voice, and the universe will change its reflection. You don't have to force the outer world into alignment. The universe is responsive by design. It listens to the tone of your mind and returns to you what you have accepted as real. That is why it is essential to make your inner voice your ally, to speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you love. Whisper encouragement, faith, and forgiveness. Replace criticism with appreciation, fear with gratitude, and complaint with praise. These new vibrations will set the universe in motion to bring you matching experiences. Remember, the universe mirrors your dominant inner voice, not your temporary moods. It responds to the consistent pattern of thought and emotion that you maintain. So even when appearances seem unchanged, continue to cultivate the feeling of what you wish to experience. Keep your inner dialogue steady, loving, and confident. In time, the reflection must adjust to match it. You are the author of the script and the star of the play, but the universe is the stagehand bringing your lines to life. Speak your lines with faith and beauty, and the world around you will echo them. Every moment of your life is feedback from the universe, showing you the tone of your inner voice. When that voice speaks love, gratitude, and confidence, the reflection will shine with the same light. The universe cannot help but mirror what you believe, because it is your own consciousness projected outward. Change your inner voice, and you will change your world. Repetition is not power, conviction is. Many people think that if they repeat a phrase often enough, the universe will eventually reward their persistence. They utter affirmations hundreds of times, hoping that mechanical repetition will bring transformation. But the subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to the emotional power and belief behind those words. It is not how many times you say something that matters, it is how deeply you times it when you say it. Conviction is the language of creation. It is the inner certainty that your desire is already real, even before you see it. A person may repeat, "I am wealthy," 10,000 times, yet if he feels lack, fear, and frustration, his subconscious accepts those feelings as the true belief. The outer words are like empty shells without power. But another person may say, "I am wealthy," once, with absolute faith and gratitude, and that single declaration moves the entire universe into action. Conviction carries energy. Repetition without belief is hollow. The subconscious mind is not fooled by words. It listens to vibration, to emotional tone, to the certainty in your heart. This is why miracles often occur in moments of deep realization, not after years of struggle. It is when the mind reaches a point of unshakable belief that the invisible becomes visible. Conviction creates alignment between the conscious and subconscious minds. When both agree, the result manifests quickly. When they conflict, repetition cannot bridge the gap. The conscious mind may say one thing, but the subconscious always acts upon what it times feels times to be true. So long as doubt, fear, or resistance exist, repetition remains powerless. Consider the difference between saying words and living them. To repeat an affirmation without belief is like planting a seed on stone. Nothing can grow there. But when your heart feels the truth of your words, it is as if you plant that seed in rich, fertile soil. It begins to take root instantly. Conviction is that fertile ground. It nourishes your thoughts with the energy of certainty, giving them power to manifest. The universe responds to the conviction of your inner state, not to the number of times you make a request. This is also why prayer, when done with deep faith, works immediately. True prayer is not begging or pleading. It is the confident knowing that your request is already fulfilled. When you pray with conviction, you speak the language of the subconscious. That single moment of inner certainty carries more creative force than 1,000 hours of fearful repetition. The moment you times no asterisk, your subconscious accepts the new idea and begins shaping it into form. The process is instant and precise. Conviction comes from emotional alignment when your mind, heart, and will are unified in one direction. When you say, "I am healthy," and feel gratitude for health as though it already exists, you activate the healing power within. When you say, "I am successful," and feel the excitement and peace of that success, your subconscious begins rearranging conditions to reflect it. The creative law of life operates through conviction, because conviction is faith in motion. It is belief made tangible through emotion and certainty. Repetition can be useful only when it builds belief, not when it replaces it. Repeating an affirmation can gradually train the mind to accept a new idea, but it becomes effective only at the moment belief takes root. You may repeat something for days, weeks, or months, but the actual creative moment is always the same, the instant you times believe asterisk. That is when the subconscious responds. It is not the quantity of affirmations that counts, but the quality of your faith. You can feel conviction in your body. It brings calm, not tension. It feels like peace, not strain. When you are truly convinced, there is no need to force, to hurry, or to worry. You know the result is certain. That inner stillness is the sign that your subconscious has accepted the idea. From that moment forward, creation unfolds naturally. The outer world begins to mirror the conviction within you. Opportunities appear, coincidences align, and life begins to flow effortlessly. The difference between repetition and conviction is the difference between noise and music. Repetition is noise, meaningless sound without rhythm or purpose. Conviction is music vibration in harmony with the divine order of the universe. When you speak from conviction, your words resonate with the infinite, and creation responds like an echo returning from eternity. So before you speak an affirmation, pause and feel it. Let it sink into your heart. See it as real, taste it, believe it. Speak it once, but speak it with absolute faith. That single moment of conviction will do more than hours of forced repetition. Your subconscious responds to the energy of knowing, not the habit of saying. The truth must be felt, not merely spoken. Conviction is the bridge between thought and manifestation. It turns ideas into reality. It commands the creative intelligence of the universe to act now. Every great achievement, every healing, every miracle has been born from conviction, the unshakable certainty that what is desired already exists. When you cultivate that state of knowing, you no longer need to repeat endlessly. The universe hears the power in your conviction once and begins to move in your favor. Repetition without belief is effort. Conviction is power. When your words and emotions unite in perfect faith, the subconscious responds immediately. That is the secret of manifestation. Believe once, fully, deeply, and the universe will echo your conviction. Through every detail of your life, every whispered "I am" becomes a living truth. Those two words, simple and sacred, are the most powerful in any language, because whatever follows them begins to take shape within you and around you. When you say "I am," you are invoking the creative presence of life itself, the divine spark that speaks through all consciousness. The subconscious mind accepts every "I am" statement as a command. It does not argue, question, or analyze. It acts. It brings into being whatever you consistently identify yourself with. If you whisper, "I am strong," that idea begins to move through your nervous system, your thoughts, your feelings, and your body. Every cell receives the message and begins to organize itself to reflect that statement. But if you whisper, "I am weak," your subconscious takes that message just as seriously. It starts to lower your vitality, drain your motivation, and shape your behavior to match the belief. The subconscious cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood. It only knows what you declare as "I am." That is why your self-talk is destiny. Every word that follows "I am" plants a seed in the soil of your mind, and the harvest always resembles the seed. People often use "I am" carelessly, without realizing that they are programming their inner world. They say things like, "I am unlucky," "I am tired," or "I am not good enough," and then wonder why life keeps echoing those very conditions. The universe simply mirrors what the subconscious has been told. When you repeat those words with emotion, you impress your mind with limitation. But when you begin to reverse those statements, when you whisper, "I am capable," "I am blessed," "I am guided," "I am loved," the pattern changes. You are no longer affirming limitation, you are commanding expansion. Every "I am" you speak sets creative energy into motion. These words are the key that unlocks either heaven or hell in your experience. If you use them unconsciously, you build invisible walls around your potential. If you use them consciously, you open doors to greater strength, peace, and abundance. You can feel the difference immediately. When you say, "I am confident," and truly feel it, your posture changes, your breathing deepens, and your thoughts become clear. When you say, "I am afraid," your body tightens and your energy contracts. Your subconscious is always listening, and your body is the proof that it hears. The great teachers and mystics throughout history have spoken of the divine "I am" as the name of God, the living presence within all beings. When you say "I am," you are not merely describing yourself, you are identifying with that divine power. You are declaring, "The creative force of the universe lives in me." The mistake most people make is attaching false ideas to that sacred phrase. They use divine power to affirm weakness, fear, and failure. But you can use that same power to affirm health, love, wisdom, and success. The power does not change, only the direction in which you use it. When you begin to monitor your inner dialogue, you'll notice how often you declare things you don't truly want. You might say, "I'm always late," "I'm so unlucky," "I'm not smart enough," or "I'm just not the kind of person who succeeds." Each of those phrases is a seed that grows into a corresponding reality. The subconscious creates experiences that confirm those words, because it must make true whatever you identify with. The moment you become aware of this law, you regain your creative authority. You can choose different words, new identifications, new realities. Start speaking consciously to yourself. Whisper affirmations that lift you higher, not those that pull you down. Say, I am peaceful, even when the outer world is chaotic. Say, I am prosperous, even when your wallet is empty. The subconscious does not work with appearances, it works with belief. When you persist in your new identity long enough for it to feel natural, circumstances begin to reorganize themselves to reflect it. You are never waiting for the world to change, you are teaching the world who you are through your I am. The transformation begins quietly. Each time you affirm something positive with feeling, the subconscious shifts a little more. Your actions begin to align with your new self-image. You start to attract different people, make better choices, and feel a deeper sense of purpose. This is not coincidence. It is the creative law of the I am at work. You are always becoming what you say you are. Every whisper, every repetition, every emotional declaration is shaping your destiny. If you want to change your life, change the way you use I am. Never speak those words lightly. Let them become sacred declarations of who you choose to be. When you say, I am grateful, life gives you more to be grateful for. When you say, I am confident, opportunities appear that require confidence. When you say, I am healed, your body begins to respond. The law is simple but absolute. Whatever you unite with I am becomes your experience. You do not need to force this process or make it complicated. The power of I am works whether you are aware of it or not. But when you become conscious of it, you gain mastery. You become the sculptor of your inner world, shaping your identity with intention and faith. Every whispered I am is a brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. Speak only what you want to see, feel what you want to become, and let the creative intelligence within you take care of the rest. In the end, life always answers to your identity. The universe does not respond to what you wish for. It responds to who you times are, asterisk. And who you are is defined by what you continually declare yourself to be. So speak these words, and with reverence, because every whispered I am becomes a living truth. In the end, everything you have heard leads to one timeless truth. You are the master of your inner world, and your inner world shapes the outer one. Your subconscious responds instantly to the beliefs you impress upon it. In just 3 seconds of focused faith, you can begin to rewire your reality. The thoughts you whisper to yourself sculpt your mind and body, and the universe itself mirrors the voice you hold within. It does not answer to effort, struggle, or chance. It answers to conviction, to belief, to the power of I am. When you speak with faith instead of fear, when you whisper words of strength instead of limitation, you awaken the divine intelligence within you. This power is not somewhere outside in the distance. It is alive in you right now. Every I am you declare becomes a seed of creation, silently growing into the life you live. The moment you feel truth in your heart, your subconscious begins to move, and the universe follows. So guard your inner voice as you would guard your most precious treasure. Let every thought, every whisper, and every declaration align with what you truly desire to see. Believe that you are guided, supported, and capable of miracles because you are. The same power that created the stars listens to your quietest thought. Speak with faith, feel your words as real, and know that even in the smallest whisper of belief, your transformation has already begun.